I'm Lonnie Groot, and I am appointed Special Magistrate for the City of Cocoa Beach, and we're here for this morning's hearings. And we've got a couple of cases to hear. But before I begin the hearings, for those of you who are new, for those of you who are watching, or for anybody who just doesn't know what we're doing here today, we're having hearings that are quasi-judicial in nature, that are matters where the city has alleged that a violation has occurred of a city code. These are not public hearings, so these are actually litigated hearings between the city and the respondents, which is typically the property owner. They're evidentiary hearings, so the city will bring forth evidence, and then the respondent will have the opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses of the city, and then the respondents will bring forth evidence, and the city will have the opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses of the respondents. At the end of the hearing, I will enter an oral order determining the results of the case, and within a short period thereafter, we get a written order out to the parties, which memorializes the actions taken here this morning. Again, these are not public hearings, so I don't know if anybody from the public is here or not, but unless a person is called, this arises from time to time, unless a person is called as a witness by the city or by the respondents, then they're not heard, they're observers. So, is there anything you think I missed? Okay, so we'll commence with the first matter, which is the roll call is I am here. Lonnie Groot, Special Magistrate. You want to announce your presence, Madam Clerk?
Yep, Danielle Crawford.
Who serves as the clerk. There are no minutes today, so we will not need to approve any minutes. So the first case to be called is case number CBPD-23-711. Is the city ready?
Yes.
Then you may proceed.
Good morning.
Oh, wait, hang on. I forgot to swear you in. Anybody who plans on being a witness today, would you please stand up? All right. Would you state your full name, please, ma'am?
Andy Thomas.
Yes, ma'am.
Lisa LaRue.
Yes, sir.
Javier Maza.
All right. Do each of you solemnly swear or testify about to give in the matter now herein be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. And Madam Court Reporter, are you here for this case?
Next one.
Okay. The next one? Okay. We'll have you announce you and your firm at that time, okay? All right. So you may
Morning.
proceed.
First case is CPDE 23-711. The property information is responded is Beach Street Place, LLC. The address of the property is 368 North 30th Street, Cocoa Beach, Florida. And we came with an agreement with the property owner. The chief official, Jay Castillo, Danielle, and myself went to the property on July 8th, and we came with agreement. He corrects some of the violations, and the agreement was for the rest that are remove the fence by July 31st, replace rooting and loose stairs street by July 31st, provide an engineer report, and apply the building permit for the roof. They need to fix the roof. And that we give you 12 weeks. That will be by October 2nd on 2024. And then they need to adjust the door, an open door on the laundry, and fix and implant a ramp to get into the laundry place. But we came with an agreement with the owner of this.
Okay. Well, before I, is the owner here? Is the owner here?
No.
No? Okay, well, before I ask you any additional questions, this is the PowerPoint that relates to that particular
Yes.
case? Okay, do you want to introduce a printed version of it into evidence? You may not.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So is that the printed version? And this outlines the settlement like,
Yep.
let me just, scan it real quick. Does this outline the dates that you were talking about too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me just scan it real quick, make sure. This is very helpful, I appreciate this. All the notice information too, very good. This is very thorough, good. You took a lot of photos. All right. All right, I will introduce this packet into evidence as the city's composite exhibit number 1, okay?
Yep.
Do you have anything further?
No.
And there wasn't anything signed by the respondent in here, was there?
No.
You just came to an oral agreement, okay. Well, just for the record then, I'm going to, is there anybody here from Beach Street Place LLC? Is there anybody here from Beach Street Place LLC? Is there the respondent, Beach Street Place LLC present? Okay, I called 3 times and there was no response, so I'm going to enter an order finding that the violations as alleged occurred and requiring compliance dates as set forth in the outlined agreement.
Yep.
Okay, the next case is a Massey hearing involving the respondent Mark Soft. Did I have pronounced that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Very good.
You did, Your Honor, and I would first like to make a notice and due process objections to the hearing going forward this morning, if I may be heard on that.
Okay, let me just call the case number and then you can say what, you can do that, okay? This is case number DSCE-24-21 and the consolidated case, which we consolidated the last hearing at DSCE-24-24. And I forgot your name, sir, I'm sorry.
Nathan Malone.
I remember that now. Yes, what would be your objection?
Yes, Your Honor, can you hear me? The notice of this morning's hearing was sent to Sojourn Ventures LLC, who is not an owner of the property, and I have a copy of the notice. I can hand one to Your Honor as well as to the city. I
Okay,
should
well-
have 3 copies here.
Well, let me ask you this, and before I forget, what firm are you with, Madam Court Reporter?
Ryan reporting.
Excuse me?
Ryan reporting.
And what's your name?
Andrew Testa.
Okay, thank you. Stetson, you,
Testa.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought, I was going to accuse you of owning the university. But, okay, you're here representing who?
Mark Soff and Mandy Thomas, Your Honor.
Okay, but you're objecting that the notice was,
Sent to Sojourn Ventures LLC, which is not Mark Soff or Mandy Thomas.
right, but you're representing Mark Soffin, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Miss, do you have anything else to say on that one?
I do. May I approach with, and I also have a copy. I sent an email to Ms. Bose on June 19th, which is one of many that went unanswered. I'll hand a copy to Ms. Bose. And then may I approach with
Of
the
course.
email and the notice? Hand a copy to the court reporter as well.
And that's the one I sent to Sojourn Ventures as a courtesy. I sent it to the registered agents just as a courtesy. So I sent it to Nathan Maloon.
And Your Honor, because Mandy Thomas or Mark Soft were not provided with the actual notice of hearing on this, based on the document that I handed Your Honor, there's a lack of fundamental due process of a proper notice being given as to the hearing this morning. Obviously, I am here, but that requirement for the actual service, it's clear that they know who the property owners are, because on the second page they mention Mark Soft, owner of the property, 126 Alachua Lane, and then they provide his actual address on the previous notice of violation. So it's clear that they just put the wrong entity name on the notice of hearing, and so as such, there's a fundamental lack of due process and of notice, which is the fundamental elements in due process, and as such, the hearing should not go forward this morning, Your Honor. A actual notice should be reproduced for a future hearing date.
Okay, do you have anything further on that?
Nothing, not on that, Your Honor.
Ms. Vose, would you like to respond?
Your Honor, I'm Becky Vose. I'm the city attorney for Cocoa Beach. And the last Massey hearing, we realized it was not properly noticed, so we were very, very careful this time. And Mr. Maloon had asked for all notices to go through him, and that's why we noticed him. He requested that the notices go through his client's attorney. And he had the notices. He was served.
Okay.
Mr. Maloon was.
Do you have anything further on that?
No, I don't believe that there's any due process issue here at all.
Well, I'm very familiar with this issue, having been a city or county attorney since 1985. And the fundamental due process involves three things: notice, an opportunity to be heard, and that the correct law be applied, or at least not necessarily applied correctly, but applied, okay? As to notice, which is the issue that Mr. Maloon's raised, I'm not going to stop this hearing for this reason. And it's regardless of what you said, and it's regardless of what Ms. Bose said. You're here. You're here. And you told me you were representing Mr. Soft, so you are here, Mr. Soft's here, the city's here, the hearing's going to go forward.
Thank
So-
you, Your Honor.
And I'm not saying one of you is telling the truth or not about the who said what to whom. That's just the facts. All right. So this is a Massey hearing, and the issue is whether or not the respondent was in compliance as of the date ordered in the prior order. So what occurred from the city's perspective?
Well, we have here all the evidence, and they're supposed to stop renting the property. By June 7th, and they keep doing it. They took the listing out of the website, but they keep all the bookings. On May 8, 2024, after you, Mr. Grew, found that property owner to be in violation of the code hearing and issue a follow order, within 30 days, on May 8, 2024, the property owner was ordered to register the two properties as a vacation rental and stop renting the property until found to be in complaint. They're supposed to obtain a business tax receipt for the two properties, stop renting multiple rooms, allowing the inspection of the whole property, entire property, and obtain a permit for modifications needed to make appropriate change to the property if the property owner wished to continue renting that special property.
Excuse me, do you have a copy of this that Mr.?
No, I don't have a copy of the order, that's what I was
Could-
gonna ask
could-
for.
Yes.
And they can have a copy too.
May I have a copy as well?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if everybody had a copy.
This is,
Just the order,
oh, the order.
of the order, yeah.
I'm so sorry. It
Okay,
is-
well,
It's,
this is the order. First of all, you have a PowerPoint for these two consolidated cases, right?
Yes.
Have you seen the PowerPoint, sir?
I have not.
Would you like to look at it
Yes,
before?
please.
I haven't looked at it yet, so. Oh, you're being provided one, okay. There's the order, right off the bat, okay.
okay.
Oh,
Oh, I was just gonna pull the order up.
okay.
Yeah. The name of the registered property. Here's the order, these 2 pages.
Don't you know how to
Yeah,
go through it?
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and ask some questions unless are you okay?
You can ask questions, I can multitask.
Okay, you don't know if you object to this PowerPoint yet or not,
I
right?
do not yet, no.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read from the order, okay? I'm only limiting my inspection right now to the order. So what I hear you say, and not to be redundant, is that there was 3 matters that were to occur, right? That the respondent shall cease and desist in renting the properties 30 days from May 8, 2024.
Yep.
Okay. And it's your testimony that websites and online bookings show to the contrary?
It's still showing booking.
Show bookings, okay. And the second thing was that the respondent shall allow the city to inspect each of the properties without the city being required to obtain an administrative inspection warrant or to obtain any authority from an outside authority. Have those inspections been allowed?
On May 30, we went there. CO Crawford, Planet Cody Hall, and myself, we went to the property, and property owner was not present. The attorney and the property manager were there. Home were allowed to be inspected, but not on the entire. They should show us one room.
That would show you, so the answer is no, the entire,
No, not the entire house.
okay? And the last thing was the respondent shall apply for and be issued any and all appropriate permits in order to implement the appropriate charge of changes or modifications in the buildings located on the properties in the event that the respondent desires to continue using the properties for the purpose of vacation rentals, in which case controlling law would only allow the properties to be used as a proper vacation rental as a one-family unit. And it's your testimony that has not occurred either.
No.
Okay. Did you have anything further testimony-wise, Ms. Bose?
Your Honor, we do have pictures showing people
Okay, and that's in the PowerPoint,
going in.
right?
It's in the PowerPoint, yes.
Let's let the opposing counsel scan it. Okay, Mr. Moon, I see you do the things the way I do too, front forwards and then backwards.
Yes.
So do you have any objection to the packet?
The packet as a whole, yes, I think there's hearsay documents that would need to be testified to and the photos would need to be authenticated as we go through it.
Okay, we're not operating by the formal rules of evidence.
Understood.
Okay, I'm going to admit them. And does the city have anything further to state about the continuation of the violations past the compliance date? Then, Mr. Maloon, you may cross-examine the witness.
May I work from the table?
Excuse me?
May I work from the table?
Oh, of course.
On slide number 8, it mentions an inspection on May 30th, 2024, correct?
Yep,
And you were present at the inspection?
yep,
And you inspected both the property at the Alachua residence or address?
just one unit, yes,
But you were there and you inspected it, correct?
Yep.
And the Leon, you were there and you inspected it?
yes.
And at the Leon, it was, can you describe the unit that you inspected?
That was a long time ago. And I'm kind of confused with both of them now.
So you don't recall your inspection of the unit,
Yeah, I was there.
but you don't recall what was inside the unit, correct?
They had locks, all the doors have locks, you cannot go communicate between the rooms. And they have a kitchen.
And this was at the Leon Street address?
104.
There was a kitchen?
Like I said, I don't recall which one is which.
Do you recall the color of the room?
No?
Were you advised that there were private residences in the other portion of the rooms?
On one of the properties was somebody renting one room.
But you don't recall which one that was?
No.
Were you advised that that was a long-term rental?
That's what they told us.
When did you take your notes that you have written down in the PowerPoint here?
2 days ago?
So you recalled it enough to write the PowerPoint 2 days ago, but not today?
What do you mean?
You wrote the PowerPoint 2 days ago, but
Yes.
you can't recall what you're testifying to today?
Yes, yes, I don't remember the rooms.
Okay. And on slide 9 of the PowerPoint here, you mentioned a Zen at 126 West Alachua, correct?
Yes,
And you're confident that was at 126 West Alachua?
yes, I have,
You're swearing that that's the truth?
yes,
And you're swearing that the Alachua address is where the second unit was being used by the owner and the third unit was being rented on a long-term basis, correct?
yes,
And on slide 9, you drafted that 2 days ago, correct?
yes,
Slide 10, you mentioned 104 West Leon, the property manager allowed you into one unit with lock and key hardware, correct?
yes,
The little area you were able to see inside the house had a kitchenette, correct?
yes.
What was in the kitchenette?
I have a small kitchen to cook and a microwave.
What was there to cook? Was it a stove?
It's a small stove.
It was a stove. How would you define a stove?
Have a burner.
So it just had a burner. Were there knobs on the burner like you would see on a cooktop?
I don't recall that.
How would you define a kitchenette?
How I define it?
Yeah, what is a kitchenette versus a kitchen?
Something to cook on it?
So if I have a grill outside, is that a kitchenette?
It is outside? No.
If I have a grill inside, is that a kitchenette?
No, I don't think so.
So then being able to cook on something doesn't make it a kitchenette, does it?
But it's inside the room, and the room is for that purpose. That room is set for that purpose.
Was there anything else in that room?
A microwave?
Was there a washer and dryer in that room?
Yes.
Do most kitchenettes have a washer and dryer?
No, my house?
Do you have a kitchenette at your house?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a kitchenette in addition to a kitchen?
Yes.
Okay. What do you have in your kitchenette?
And we're not talking about me right now. We're not
if-
talking about my house.
But you just testified that you have a kitchenette at your house in addition to a kitchen. I'm trying to explore what your definition is of a kitchenette.
Oh, you see,
So what do you have in your kitchenette that makes it a kitchenette?
if a hurricane happened, I had something to cook on it.
Okay. Is somebody not allowed to have in the city of Cocoa Beach a George Foreman grill in their room?
No?
You're able to cook on a George Foreman grill, aren't you?
Yes.
At the property inspection, were you advised that the areas where you looked at were the only areas where the respondent was interested in renting out?
That's the only part that they want to show us, to us.
Because that's the only area that they wanted to rent out.
But we don't know that. And the magistrate ordered for them to show the whole entire property, not just one room.
Going back to slide number 5, it states, where in paragraph 5 of slide number 5 does it state that the whole property should be inspected? It doesn't say whole property, does it?
Mr. Malone, just to help me out, are you referring to the language, the respondent shall allow the city to inspect each of the properties without the city being required to obtain an administrative inspection warrant or obtain any authority from an outside authority?
Correct.
Okay.
Sure. Sure.
So just to help me out again, okay, your assertion, I don't want to prejudge what you're going to argue to be your conclusion, right? But what I hear you saying is that there was an authority to inspect all the properties based upon this language.
Correct. Only the portions of the property that were interested in being rented out for the future inspections as required by the city code for kind of reading the document as a whole. The only portions that were to be inspected were the areas where that were going to be rented out, the rooms that were going to be rented out.
Your Honor,
Okay,
But they have more.
all right. That's what, okay, go ahead. You can go ahead, I'm sorry.
Back to the paragraph 5 on slide number 5 doesn't say specifically that the city has the authority to inspect the entire property, does it?
Okay.
Well, let me cut to, I don't want everybody to spend more time than they need to. I wrote the order, right?
Correct.
So paragraph 4 says, of the order, on the first page of the order, says the properties which are the subject of this action are located, and it gives the addresses, but it gives the tax parcel ID numbers. So are we saying, is it your assertion that the entire tax parcel, the entire property that is assigned that tax parcel is not what was referred to when the authority was granted to, the agreement was memorialized about the inspections?
Correct, it was just for
Okay.
the area to be rented out
Okay, well,
on a short-term basis.
I'm gonna tell you that, I'm not, regardless of how I rule on this Massey hearing, okay, I'm gonna tell you, you probably ought to go somewhere else, because this order was about the entire tax parcel, so the city had the ability to inspect the entire tax parcel, whatever that was. And there was 2 of them, whatever they were, there was 2 of them, okay? So, that might cut to the chase a little bit.
And, Your Honor, if I may, I don't know if am I allowed to speak?
Well, why don't you redirect after Mr. Balloon is through cross-examining? How does that sound?
On paragraph, or on slide number 18, if you go to slide number 18 on the PowerPoint.
I don't have numbers, so which one it is?
You don't have numbers on the PowerPoint? They're in the top left of the PowerPoint that you created 2 days ago.
Okay, yes, which one?
18.
Yes.
What service were you using here to look at the booking activities?
That information is given to me for Cody Hall.
So you didn't create this information?
I create the PowerPoint, not the information.
Okay, so you don't have personal knowledge of where this photograph was taken from?
No.
You don't know if it was fabricated?
Why we do that?
You
He's-
didn't look at the...
It's right here, you can ask him if he have fabricated.
You don't know if this was taken from what service this was taken from, though, do you?
No.
You don't know if, in fact, all of the APIs were disconnected from the owner's website that severed the ties between Airbnb and other listings, do you?
No.
And that would be the same with slide 19? You don't have personal knowledge of that?
Yes.
What about slide 20? Is that the same with slide 20?
Sorry, what?
Slide 20?
Yes.
You lack personal knowledge of slide 20?
Yeah, I put it together.
Slide 21, you lack personal knowledge of those photographs?
Yes.
What about slide 22? Do you have personal knowledge of that? Email?
That email got sent to Danielle Croft.
You don't have personal knowledge of that email?
I saw it. I saw the email.
So
Yes.
you're aware that they no longer want to apply for the vacation rentals at the Leon property or the Alachua property?
Well, I know they, yes.
So there'd be no reason to obtain the licenses to do so if they're suspending their application, correct?
Yes. But they had to get it for the past, for whatever they rent in the past. We're talking about a few years.
What about paragraph or slide 23? You have personal knowledge of that?
Yes.
Did you take that photograph?
No.
Okay, so you don't have personal knowledge of that photograph?
No. But I know which house is that.
Okay. You didn't take that photograph? Though, did you?
No.
You didn't take the screenshot or whatever that is of the calendar?
No.
Do you know when Marksoff began owning the Alachua property?
No.
No. How many fridges and microwaves can somebody have in their house?
It's no number.
Would you have a washer and a dryer in each bedroom
If
of a
you,
house?
if you had a drain, yes.
How many kitchens could somebody have in a house?
No number.
Is there anything in the Cocoa Beach Code that defines what a kitchen is?
No that I recall.
And you're a code enforcement officer, correct?
Yes.
Could somebody have a microwave in each bedroom of a house?
Yes.
Could somebody have a refrigerator in each bedroom of a house?
Yes.
But not a cooktop?
Yes, I guess yes.
Okay. And there's, what in the Cocoa Beach Code forbids that, if anything?
Nobody's saying that's prohibited.
Does the city of Cocoa Beach allow, if I lived in a home and could I rent out a room in the city of Cocoa Beach?
You can rent a room.
If I owned a single family residence, could I rent one room in that house, just on Airbnb?
You need to get a BTR. You need to get the paperwork right.
So assuming that I got all the correct applications, I could then.
On the residential, you can rent one room.
Okay. Could I have multiple generations of my same family living in my house, in a single family residence?
Yes.
Could I have multiple friends that own or rent a single family residence?
Depends how many.
If it was
You cannot rent all the rooms.
If it was a 4-bedroom house,
You can rent one room.
for a long-term rental?
Yes.
So if it's a long-term rental, myself and 3 others could rent the home for our long-term residents?
Yes.
During the inspection, I think there's been some concern that that this was turned into a hotel or something of the like. Are there doors or are there walls in between the units?
Doors
And those doors.
and walls, of course.
And you, in fact, at the inspection saw those doors open, didn't you?
No, the door was locked.
At the Alachua house, did you see the door open?
No.
Did you see that there was a lock on the door?
Yes.
And in the one house where it wasn't open, you were advised that there was somebody that was living there long term, correct?
No. We got informed for the maintenance person. Yes, we get into the room. Yes.
Okay. And at the other residence, where you in fact saw the door open, correct?
Oh, no, it's just on that one.
Which resident, did you see in any residence, did you see a door between the unit that you were in and the rest of the home?
Open, no.
Did- Was there any?
They were all
doors-
locked.
were
You,
there
you
any-
cannot open without a key.
Were there any doors that had soundproofing on them?
Yes,
And was that door opened?
now that I recall.
You don't recall whether or not it opened?
No.
I have nothing further.
Ms. Vos, would you like to
Um,
redirect?
Actually, I would like to call with regard to clarifying the submission. I'd like to call Corey Hall
All right. So you're through with this witness then for right now?
Yes.
for right now.
Okay. Yes, sir. You state your full name, please?
Corey Hall.
Mr. Hall, do you solemnly swear that testimony about the given matter not here will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, could you please state your, well, you just stated your name. And what is your position with the city?
I'm a planner,
Okay.
planning and zoning.
And you heard the cross-examination
I did.
earlier? Okay. So are you the one who provided the information for this packet that was presented here?
I provided some of the snapshots of the bookings, and that came from Rentalscape. It's a software package that basically goes out and looks at Airbnb and VBRO and provides us the information. And we can see which properties are renting, and these are bookings. When you see the dark blue, those are actual bookings. And I provided the last one, which was this month and next month, where the bookings are still there, although they did take down their site. It's not a live site anymore, so I don't think that anybody can book anymore. I'd like to go for one more thing, what he was talking about, a kitchenette.
Go ahead.
There was a sink in there as well, and I looked through all the building permits for those two houses, and I can't find anything about the sink, the shower in the backyard, the fences in the backyards. There's a lot of work that's been done dividing up the rooms, and even some of the bookings show different rooms as well. So without us being able to see the whole house, I don't think there's any way we could really tell how many kitchens are in that house, how many separate rooms there are. Like I said, all the doors were key locked. It wasn't like a doorknob. It was a key lock. So you had to have a key to go in different rooms.
Okay. And in fact, in the advertisements for the different rooms in these houses, did the different rooms have names?
They did. I don't recall all the names, but I did read some of the reviews, and some of the people said that they could hear people on the other side of the walls, but all in all, it wasn't a bad stay. So, I mean, some of those comments made me believe that there's other people in the house besides them.
Okay. And could you look through, I believe part of the packet listed some of the names of the rooms?
Oh, the Zen Den, Pineapple Cove, Pool Paradise. Oh yeah, there you go.
So Kodesh, the marina.
Does this refresh your memory, looking at that, as to the names of the different units in one single-family home? Could you read those?
The units listed online, which we are not permitted to see, are as follows: Disney Island, Pool Oasis, Shell Cottage, the Marina, and Tiki Hut.
Okay, and this is a single-family residential district, is that true?
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
And that means you can either rent one room or the whole house, short term. They had a long-term rental person in that house, and they're doing short-term rentals as well. So it's definitely not up to code. And they've been doing it for multiple years and still have not been properly registered with the city. I've sent many notices off to Mark. Sometimes I get a reply, but they still haven't paid. They still haven't had the fire inspections done. They're not up to code as of yet for proper registration.
Okay.
Mr. Mullen, before I turn it over to you for cross-examination, let me just ask one. Mr. Hall, you mentioned unpermitted work, okay? Now, this order that I issued, it only relates to getting permits for work if the respondent desires to continue using the properties for the purpose of vacation rentals. So that's not charged, is it?
True.
Okay.
True. It's just
I'm not gonna
what I
consider-
noticed when I was.
I'm not going to consider that statement in this case.
Okay.
It could be in another case, that's for everybody else to figure out, but the only requirement of this order was to do the work that's necessary to have it permitted as a vacation rental. Does that make sense? That makes sense, Ms. Bose?
Yes.
Okay, you may proceed then, Mr. Mullen.
You testified that the fire marshal never came out. Has the fire marshal ever been to the property to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
To get properly certified, he'd have to come there to do an inspection though.
Okay.
So, and it's not properly certified, so I'd have to say he's not been there.
So your testimony isn't that he hasn't been there, but you don't know if he's been there?
Correct.
You stated that there was a sink in the kitchenette. Would that have
Yeah,
been a
on the
laundry sink?
back side of the bathroom, looks like somebody did plumbing and put a sink in. And I think that's part of that kitchenette that we were talking about.
Could that also have been a laundry sink?
Sure, could have been.
And you testified about a review that said that there was noise coming from the other side of the wall.
Yeah, one of the reviews on the website.
But you wouldn't know if that would have been a TV that could have been on, if that could have been Miss Thomas, if that could have been a laundry.
That was just a statement that somebody put out there that I just repeated.
But you don't know who that was. It could have been the owner, correct?
It was a renter that had been there.
A renter made the review, but that person didn't say who it was. It could have been the owner, correct?
Oh, on the other side of the wall, yeah, anybody.
And you testified that the site had been, the bookings have been taken down, correct?
The listings have been taken down, not the bookings. The bookings still show for this month and next.
Are you familiar with APIs and how that works between the booking website and the various?
It's familiar. I don't know exactly how everything works, but I'm familiar that you go online, you book, and
So you don't in fact know if shutting off the bookings would have made it to Airbnb and VRBO and then to the rental scape when you took these screenshots? do you?
well, I think all we need to do is find out if they cancel the bookings. I mean, your client should be able to show us that.
Right, but you're not here testifying today. You don't know
No.
if in fact those bookings have been canceled.
I do not. All I can tell you is that the site has been taken down.
Do you know how Rentalscape gets its information from Airbnb and VRBO?
No.
And then you mentioned that you can have a long-term renter but not rent out one room, correct?
Right.
But you can own the property and rent out one room for short-term, correct?
Correct. In that, if you're properly registered,
Wouldn't that be discriminating based on ownership status of the property?
no, it's part of our code. If you own the house, you can rent out one room or the whole house for short term.
Right, so you're making a distinction between whether or not they own the property, correct?
A distinction between owning the property, no.
No, so there's no distinction as to whether or not somebody owns the property when they only rent out one room?
No.
You got me a little confused. Are you saying that there's a distinction between if you rent the house and rent out a room as opposed to owning the house and rent out a room?
Correct.
Okay.
No, there's property managers that rent out houses as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be the owner there to do that, no.
the city of Cocoa Beach code that forbids you having a certain number of roommates in a single-family residence?
You got me. I didn't bring the codes. I didn't expect to be up here. But I can supply that to you later. If you'd
Sitting
like.
here today giving testimony in this hearing, you don't know what that code is.
I don't know the specific one offhand.
Is it possible it doesn't exist? And it's just a policy of the city?
No, it exists.
I have nothing further.
Thanks.
Ms. Bose, anything else
Nope.
on this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Does the city have any further evidence?
No.
Does the respondent have any evidence they'd like to bring forward?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Lisa LaRue.
And Ms. Ms. LaRue is next to you, right?
Ms.
No,
LaRue.
that's Ms. LaRue. Okay, what's the best position for her to be in to record? You want her up here, or you want her?
Oh, yeah, if she could come up to a
Okay,
mic,
that'd be
that
great.
would be probably best.
Not trying to make you uncomfortable, we just want to record the proceedings.
I'm fine. My apologies. I've been sick the last couple of days, so I don't want to get close.
You can sit down if you,
Oh,
What's your name for the record?
Lisa LaRue,
How do you spell that?
LARUE.
Were you present at the inspection of the properties on May 30th, 2024?
Yes, I was.
And at the Leon address, there was discussion of a door with some soundproofing on it. Do you recall
Correct.
that? Did that door open during the inspection?
Yes, we opened it. They asked if they could go past the doors. I informed them that it was the owner's private area, and we didn't go in there.
And were they informed that there was no intent to rent that area out?
Yes.
Have you called the city asking about fridges, microwaves, kitchenettes, and the permitting for those?
I did, and I was told, I talked to, I believe, the young lady's name, Nicole. I'm sorry, I've had cold nose.
Did you take any notes when you made
I
those
did.
phone calls? Okay, and may I approach the witness with an exhibit?
yeah, would you show it, Ms.
Yeah,
Bose?
I have a copy for the witness for you and
All right, thank you.
may I approach?
Of course. Thank you.
The exhibit that I have in front of you, were those the notes that you took from your phone call?
Yes, it
with the
is.
city?
Well, hang on 1 second. Let's afford Ms. Bose an opportunity to look at them and see if she has any objection stated.
Okay. This appears to be notes taken when Danielle Crawford was called.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of these?
I do not.
Okay, I'm going to sit next to Danielle so she can see
Okay.
these. Is that
Okay.
all right?
You have no objection?
I have no objection.
Okay, proceed.
Can you explain how you took these notes and kind of, were these notes, I noticed it says 6/1/24, call from my house phone. Did you take that on June 1st, 2024?
Yes.
And that was as the conversation was going or immediately after you took your notes from the call?
Yes.
Okay, and for your June 1st call, what were the questions that you asked and what were the city's answers?
You know, I asked them how many refrigerators and microwaves I could have in my bedrooms and houses. If I had a 4-bedroom house, 4 teenagers, adult children, could I put that stuff in there for them? They said yes, that there was no limit. Had to be on different GFI circuits. On the washers and dryers, as many as we wanted, as long as they were permitted and approved.
Okay, and then you called again on June 21st and 24th?
I called and told them I just wanted to confirm she remembered me from before, said it was the same as before, Well, on the 21st, I left a message, I'm sorry. I talked with him again on the 25th, and I was told basically the same thing. And I looked in Municode, there's nothing in Municode that defines a kitchen. And I told her that, and there is nothing, is what I was told. So, and I asked her if the microwave and refrigerator in each bedroom, does that make it a kitchen? She said they have to be on their own GFIs.
And then on the second to last page here, there's a screenshot that's inserted into the document from tax parcel account 2436730. How do you know that's being used for short-term rental?
I found that on, let's see, what website was that? I believe that was on Google. That was on Airbnb. I found them on the map on there and looked and found the listing and everything.
And that's the whole house they're renting out there?
Yes.
But they're claiming a homestead exemption on the property appraiser site?
Yep.
And then on the last page, 113 Leon.
That one, there's different cars there all the time. They've taken it off of Airbnb to what I could see, but it is available on google.com. But there's cars there all the time, parking on the grass, on the street. I don't know if they're doing it by room or whole house, but
Have you been present for any fire marshal inspections?
Well, can I interrupt there real quickly? So these are not the properties that we're talking about.
These are nearby properties.
The assertion is that these are in violation too, is that,
Correct.
okay.
directly behind and across the street.
Is this, okay. Is this a formal complaint or is this just evidence?
Just evidence.
Okay.
And I would like to move to admit the notes into evidence.
There's no objection that your Exhibit A, competent Exhibit A.
Ms. LaRue, were you present for any fire inspections at the property?
Yes.
And what fire department came?
I guess Cocoa Beach, I have his card in my wallet there, I believe.
Why did the Cocoa Beach Fire Inspector come?
They came to do an inspection so we could get a license for rental.
So you did in fact have the fire marshal did come to do an inspection of the property?
Correct, to check the fire alarms and all that, to make sure it was code, the lights above the doors.
Are there long-term renters in any of the properties?
Yes,
Does Ms. Thomas, the owner of the property, stay in the properties?
yes,
What about Mr. Soft?
yes.
Are the properties currently being rented out?
Just the long-term rental that's there, no short-term. We've had some people, some friends of the families come and stay. I've gone over and stayed a couple nights because I live over on the mainland. I like to come over here.
Does your daughter live in one of those?
Yes,
Does anybody else stay with your daughter?
her boyfriend, he lives with her.
Cocoa Beach is a pretty popular place. Is that
Yes,
fair to say?
it
You
is.
want to come visit your daughter?
Exactly.
Are there walls built in between the rooms?
And no, there's doors.
Did the fire marshal have any issue with the doors?
No.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Ms. Those, do you have any questions of the witness?
After June 7th,
Mhm.
who has stayed in that property?
We had some remaining reservations that, per the order, we were allowed to keep. Then it was taken off of the APIs and all. We've had friends and family of Mandy's and Mark's come stay. Mandy stayed, Mark's been down to stay. I've stayed a couple nights.
Okay, so after June 7th, there were rentals, they who stayed.
Okay, ma'am. It said in the order after June 7th for 1 month, so as not to interrupt the vacation plans of those already booked, that they could stay. So those were allowed to stay. Then after that, nobody has paid to stay there.
Okay, but after June 7th, there were people who paid to stay there.
The ones that were already on the book that we did not cancel because per the order we were allowed to keep them.
Actually, it was the month before that you were.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cold medicine. I told you I was sick. My months, no, there have not been.
Okay, so if we have pictures of people getting bags out of the trunk of a rental car and going into the units.
Now, I do have, my long-term rental might have people coming over. As I said, friends and family have been down to visit. Mandy was kind enough to let my son and daughter-in-law and grandbaby stay there a couple weeks ago.
Okay, these two houses, are they divided up into separate rooms where you can access them from outside and lock?
It is all accessible throughout the whole house. They can get into all
without
the,
interior locks that you require a key for?
correct.
So the individual rooms, when you rented them out as Airbnbs, somebody could just walk in from the interior of the house into your unit?
No, but we're not doing that.
Okay. Have you physically changed anything since you stopped renting them out as Airbnbs?
I have not, because since we've stopped doing that, I'm no longer working there. I go through and make sure, some people or landscapers are doing what they were supposed to do. Just make sure everything's flushing and going if people aren't there. Other than that, I don't know.
Do you know if there were physical changes to the building?
I was not there during any construction.
Okay. When did you start working there?
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember. I've been friends with Mandy for so long, and I just go in and help her out and all that. I don't even know any specific dates.
Okay, so you're not a property manager?
No, I just help Mandy out, and she put me on the paperwork for emergencies in case her and Mark are not in town, because I'm 20 minutes away in Port St. John.
Okay, and what is the relationship between the two owners?
They are brother and sister.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Malone, any redirect?
I have no regrets.
Do you have any additional witnesses?
Mandy Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, we swore you in earlier, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Can you spell your name for the record?
M-A-N-D-Y, Mandy, Thomas, T-H-O-M-A-S.
So this was just asked in Ms. LaRue, but who has stayed at the property after June 7th?
I had her make up a couple of Leases, when we had to take the short-term rentals off, they're very big homes. So I ended up letting her daughter stay because I don't want any squatters in there. So we have a shared room lease. So her daughter's husband or boyfriend, fiance, whatever they are. We have another gal, we have 2 other roommates living in the houses. I had some of my employees down on a break before we opened in the resort. I've been down, my brother has been down. I had a girlfriend and her whole family. I let them stay for 2 weeks down there because they helped my dad out up in Wisconsin and they were looking to get away. So I'm like, well, I got this house, go on down and use it.
Have you listed any of the properties for sale?
Yes, I feel chased out. I feel like this is a witch hunt, and now my brother and I are forced to sell this because no matter what we say, they don't believe us.
What were the properties like prior to your purchase of them?
Well, one was a bank-owned, excuse me, foreclosure. The Alachua property, I remember when we came in and bought that property, we had neighbors thanking us because it was, I mean, I guess maybe there was a condemned house next to it. They were having rat issues. I mean, they were in really bad shape at the end of the day. Both the properties were in terrible shape.
And specifically, what were the properties like as far as their inside, the doors on the property? Ms. LaRue was asked about doors on the property into the rooms, or they're like in that regard.
Yeah, the reason actually why we purchased those properties were because they were specifically multi-generational type properties. They had lots of bedrooms, they had, you know, lots of doors, especially Leon Street. And that was a very, as we call it, wonky and interesting setup because of the people that used to live there. They ran a masonry company out of there, and he had his kids, his parents. There was just so many people living in and out of there.
Are you willing to pay the vacation rental registrations and the license and business taxes that you've been ordered to pay?
Yes, we've been trying. That's why the fire marshal and everyone else has been out.
I apologize, I only have 2 copies of them. But may I approach the witness and then?
Sure, some of us goes first.
I'm going to stand here with you, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any objection?
No.
You need to use it during the, do you need to see it while the interrogation's going on?
You can, it's okay.
Are you moving this into evidence?
Yes.
Okay, it's your exhibit B? Copy?
Yes.
Okay. It's so admitted.
Ms. Thomas, did you authorize me to send this email to the city attorney?
Yes.
On June 13th, 2024?
Yes.
And specifically, as to the second paragraph here, did you authorize me to ask what specific amount was due?
Yes.
Have you ever been advised of any response that was received?
No.
And then on the attachment to the email, which is the second page, and it's black and white and not the best reading of it, but in the bottom of the first paragraph, did the city say that they had factual knowledge regarding your violation, or was it just a belief?
The violation of what?
the violation of continuing to rent the property?
A belief. They just said they didn't believe me.
Okay. And you provided them with the calendars and the various documents that would show factually.
There are no more calendars.
You can't prove a negative.
Correct.
And then you authorized the city to inspect the portion of the property that at the time you wanted to rent out, is that correct?
Yes, I was told that I had to have an inspection to get my license and had to follow the proper protocol. And we were just asking to be treated fairly like everyone else and go through due process.
And on the slide that's up on the screen right now with the, I'll get the exact, slide number 20, I believe, 21. No. Slide 23 that's up on the screen with the family in red shirts, the individuals in red shirts getting out of the car. There's no license plate that's visible in that picture, is there?
No,
It doesn't say this is a rental car, does it?
no.
And even if there's nothing that prevents somebody from using different cars, is there?
No.
Did you apply for any permits for any of the properties when if you renovated any of them?
Yes, sir.
What kind of permits did you apply for?
We filed for a full renovation permit on Alachua.
And did you receive the permit?
Absolutely, and a final inspection and got the okay on the full renovation.
So kind of vacation rental registration required. Have you attempted to register the home as a RS1 vacation rental?
Yes, multiple times.
Are you willing and have you attempted to pay the business tax receipts?
Yes, very willing. And that's, again, why we had the fire marshal. In fact, we had the fire marshal come out twice because I think it was the fire alarm, they weren't talking to each other. So we had to make them talk and do everything that the fire marshal asked of us. And then he had to come back out a second time to look at it and then gave us the thumbs up.
But you don't want to pay for years of business tax receipt that you didn't own the property, correct?
Not if I didn't own it.
And may I approach the witness with what would be Exhibit C as the warranty deed for the Alachua property?
Of course.
Give a copy to Ms. Bose. Is that a copy of the warranty deed where your brother took title to the Alachua property?
Yes, sir.
Has the city requested, Has the city requested you to pay for the Alachua business tax receipts prior to 2022?
No. Like, did they reach out to us prior to 2022?
Or in their documents with how much you owed, did they ask for the business tax receipts for Alachua prior to 2022?
Yes. Yeah, their dates were quite wrong on when we bought it.
And specifically and it's on slide 30, which I'll show the witness, and I believe the special magistrate and Ms. Bowes have a copy of this already. But on slide 30, for 126 Alachua, they're requesting 2020, 2021, and 2022 for the business tax receipts. Is that correct?
And 2020, it looks like another, and all the way back to 2020, which we didn't own the property for those 3 years.
Correct. So there should be no fees for the years that the property wasn't owned.
We didn't own it.
And you're not going to pay something that you don't owe. Is
Nope.
that fair to say?
Correct.
Is the home divided into private units?
No. Closing a door does not make something a private unit.
Is the home currently a single-family dwelling?
Yes.
Can you explain what the cooktop is in the one room that we had a lot of discussion about this morning?
Yeah, so it's literally just like one of those little like food warmers. Like it doesn't even get up to temperature to boil anything.
Have you stopped renting the short-term vacation rentals?
Yes. We actually started deleting, moving our reservations, right when we received the notice, even though they stated that we were able to keep certain reservations because they didn't want to, I suppose, look bad, the city, and canceling vacations, I believe is how they said it in their letter, to people that, aren't involved in this. So we are, we tried to relocate. I have a bunch of friends with Airbnbs. We've moved a lot of people. We've canceled, I've moved a lot of them to another property that I own outside of the Cocoa Beach jurisdiction. Actually, I moved most of them there.
That might be why it shows up as booked on these Redscape or whatever.
Oh, no, the reason why they show up is when we separate, so it's a third-party platform, so Booking.com, Vrbo, Airbnb, Google. I own a resort also in Tennessee, so I'm very familiar with how these work, and my brother was the one that created all the systems. He's a cybersecurity engineer, in fact. So we have made these systems. We created a system that links up to Airbnb, VRBO, and all of the systems similar to like HostAway or Lodgify. We also use Lodgify on our personal website. All of those systems were connected and fed through our personal website. They're all connected by an API. When that API is severed, whatever digital footprint is left on the internet, there is nothing I can do to control that. It goes back to the tale that we all tell our kids, don't post naked pictures or things you don't want the whole world to know, because once they're on the internet, they're always on the internet. So even as we delete and take off our calendar, that footprint will be there for some time. And in fact, because of this, and because we scoured the internet to make sure there was no way to receive a booking, I even found one of my old rentals from 6 years ago when I owned Brevard Street that still had a calendar and things up there, even though I haven't had that in years.
So it's possible that if somebody looked at the Redscape, they would have the digital footprint, or maybe they didn't clear their cache on their internet browsing history, so it still shows up like it did.
Correct. I would challenge anyone to make a booking or to find an active calendar.
You're trying to work with the city of Cocoa Beach here. You're not trying to willingly violate the codes.
No, we sure tried, but I had to hire you because, like I said, we seriously feel like we're on a witch hunt, and now we're moving out of Cocoa Beach.
No further questions.
Ms. Lowe's?
Okay, when you did rent out the short-term rentals,
Mhm.
you had how many short-term rentals in the single-family home?
Yep, there's 5 bedrooms, and we would rent out the bedrooms sometimes separately, and we'd also rent it out as a full house.
Okay, and did you notify the people who would rent them out as individual bedrooms that it was not a separate, secure property?
Say that again?
Okay, you indicated that it was just one single-family home
Mm-hmm.
with a bunch of doors.
Mhm.
Did you notify the people who rented out the vacation rentals that they were just renting one bedroom? that
Yes,
other
yeah,
people-
they had their private space, and then everything else was shared space on the outside, patios, things like that.
Okay, but you did not tell them that the doors worked?
Why would I
from-
tell them that the doors work?
The door, you indicated that it was just a single-family home.
It's a
with
single-family
different
home.
bedrooms.
It's a single-family home with different bedrooms. The doors have locks on them. When I would rent out the rooms separately, the doors would be locked. When I would rent them out as a full house, we would open the doors so people could stay throughout the whole house.
Okay. When people are coming down, for instance, who are these people who were walking?
Well, this spot right here is actually my Layla's spot. So I'm assuming these are friends of hers. She's a stripper we met quite a few, 8 months or so ago, and she's living there, and they travel the country doing their shows. So she's always having people down because she's always saying, hey, just so you know, there's going to be another vehicle or this or that. But that's her spot. So without knowing, I don't know.
When you say her spot, it looks like it has a parking area with different parking spots. Are those parking spots for each one of the bedrooms?
These are just parking spots so people don't pull up and hit my house. I have these same things at my house personally.
Okay. So you say that that's Lila's spot.
Correct.
So the people who went in there, they were just staying in one unit of the house?
Yeah, Layla stays in the in-law suite.
Okay, and how many in-law suites are there?
One.
And what are the other suites called?
I don't have a name, that's just an in-law suite and the rest is the house. Or are you talking what we had them on Airbnb as?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Zenden and the Pineapple.
Okay. And which one is this?
I don't know what door they went in.
Okay, you said that that was Lila's
Correct.
space. So it was Lila's parking space?
Yeah, that's the area where she would park, and I told her to let her friends park.
But the people who went in there were just staying in a portion of the house, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Were there other people staying in other portions of the house?
In this particular house, yeah, I have Lisa's daughter, and I have late Layla or Lila. I have two different long-term roommates staying in that house after. Well, actually, that was even done before this whole Airbnb debacle.
Okay, explain that, please.
Oh, that the Airbnb thing just happened, 2 months ago when you started sending us this? Layla's been there for 8 months, and Cheyenne's been there, or I don't know how many months.
Okay, do they live communally?
In some
in the
spaces.
entire home?
In some spaces, but they have their private areas, private bedrooms, private bathrooms, they're big homes.
Okay, so you have, right now, which home has the most bedrooms and spaces?
Oh, Leon Street, it's a huge house.
The which?
Leon.
Leon, okay. And how many separate spaces are there in Leon?
Well, do you consider a bedroom a separate space, ma'am?
What I'm asking is when you rented them out as an Airbnb,
Mhm.
each one of the Airbnbs had a bedroom, a bathroom, and a place to cook, correct?
No, not always a place to cook, incorrect.
Okay, how many had a place to cook?
Objection exceeds the scope of the direct exam, and also, we're here on compliance, not what happened in the past. We're here showing that we've complied with the order, not what has been done in the past.
Okay,
You want to ask the what were you going to say?
I'm
Responsive?
just trying to,
Okay,
I
well,
have
we're
to-
way past just focusing on compliance. So
well,
it seems like lots of doors are open, so let's just let everything, I'm going to overrule the objection.
okay.
If you want to ask the question.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what is going on now. You call them roommates. Are they staying in separate? in
Bedrooms?
Leon, who's staying where?
So I have one person currently staying there, and then I'm debating on actually letting my landscaper stay there with his sister because they're getting evicted, things like that. So they've actually been staying there for a little while until I figure out if I want to let them stay there longer.
Okay, so is the landscaper, and then who else is there?
Just another gal.
Okay, are they friends or roommates or anything, the landscaper and?
No, they're not friends.
Okay, so you are using it as a multifamily, correct?
Is having a roommate a multifamily?
I've just asked you if they were roommates. They're not roommates.
No, you asked me if they were friends.
Are they sharing the home communally,
In some areas.
the outside areas?
No, there's also a large area in the center of the house if everyone really wants to gather there.
Okay. Are you, who else is staying in Leon?
That's it.
Okay. Are there any rooms that are not occupied that you could put other people there?
Yeah, I could put other people in other bedrooms.
Okay, so you're treating it as a multifamily.
Well, wouldn't that say then my house is multifamily if my baby daddy and my son have their private rooms then? I mean,
No, I'm sorry, I'm not,
I mean, that was the
I'm not answering the
question.
questions. You said you bring your.
Then I would say, no, I'm not using it as a multifamily.
You're not, so you don't have different families living there in different rooms.
As far as I know, there's nothing against having roommates. And in fact, we've called the city of Cocoa Beach and the county and asked this question before. And we were told there's no limit
I
to
think the
roommates.
best, what will help everybody in terms of getting to a conclusion at today's hearing
Sir.
quicker is just answer Ms. Vo's questions, because I assure you, Mr. Maloon's going to try
Well,
to
then I would
make
say I'm not using
He's going
it-
to make the points that you're
Okay.
trying to make
All
now.
right, fair enough.
Okay.
I am not using it as a multifamily in my opinion, no ma'am.
Okay, so you're not bringing in random people and putting them in different places and calling them roommates?
I am not bringing in random people doing any short-term rentals. Do I have some roommates? Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Maloon, any redirect?
Yes. Are you aware of any requirement to tell somebody that rents out the property that a door does or does not work?
No. I lock my bathroom door too. And the garage so my son can't get in. And my bedroom even has a thumb code lock on it so he can't get in.
The parking stops that are in the photo on the slide up there, was it the fire marshal that required those when you had the inspection?
Actually, would have been more the city of Cocoa Beach because the city of Cocoa Beach stated that we had to have designated parking areas for the rentals. So if they were clearly marked, right, then that would then follow their own guidelines.
And there's nothing that you're aware of against having those parking stops out there for the safety of the people in the home or the drivers?
No.
And you testified that you have those at your own home?
I do, and specifically here, since I have cleanouts, actually my baby daddy ended up hitting one of the cleanouts one day when he came up, and that's what actually caused me to originally start putting those there.
And there was a lot of questions asked about kind of these roommates, do they know each other, are they family? You don't want to violate the Federal Fair Housing Act, do you?
Nope.
No further questions.
Ms. Bose?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any additional witnesses?
No additional witnesses.
Does the city have any additional witnesses?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Well, what I'd like to do is just have both sides summarize where they think we're at and why they think, the party thinks that each of the three elements of the order that are at issue, in my view, have or have not been complied with. So, under normal procedure, the city goes first, so
Okay.
gets the opportunity to rebut.
Okay. Well, I don't know that he's going to want to rebut what we're going to say.
I don't know either.
Okay. All right. I believe that they are trying to stop the short-term rentals. It appears that they are. And we did make an error with regard to the BTR. It should not go earlier than the January 2022. So we would ask that they come in and pay the BTR tax, which that's what it is, it's a tax, that would be effective from January 2022 to the time that the short-term rentals ended. And we will be addressing issues with regard to treating it as a multifamily as opposed to short-term rentals separately in further code actions. So we're not asking for a determination on that, but we'd merely like to request that they come in, pay the BTR within a reasonable period of time, and I'd say 20 days, and that they be ordered not to short-term rental the property in the future, and that you make a finding of that any further violation would be a repeat violation.
Well, that's already in the prior order.
Okay.
That is, I mean, they were found in violation as of the date of the order, and that any future violations would be treated as repeat
Sure.
violation.
Okay.
Mr. Maloon, you heard the,
We have no issue with, I guess we have no issue with that.
well, that's
I've
good.
been asking for weeks for a response. on
Okay.
what we actually, oh, here's the document. I'm
That-
just frustrated.
I-
That I was
okay.
in 2 hours of a hearing this morning when I've asked this in mid-June.
I have 7 daughters and a wife, so I hear lots of frustration, but that frustration is, you and the city can work that one out, okay? But that's actually what was just said between the two of you.
Yeah, correct.
Was exactly where I was gonna go.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is ratify the prior order, find that there were violations, ratify the fact that any future violation would be a repeat violation, find that the property was in compliance as to stopping the short-term rental as within the required time frame. I'm still confused a bit about whether the inspection was allowed or not allowed, but it doesn't seem to make any difference now.
I don't believe the inspection did occur, but we are stepping back from that.
Okay, so I'm going to find that did not continue past the compliance date. And the only other issue is the payment of the BTR, the local business tax. And I think everybody's in agreement that 2020 was the threshold date. And so,
2022.
I mean, I thought it was it 2022, sorry. My bad. 2022 was the threshold date, so
Oh, and
did I say it right or wrong? I
the
thought,
actual property was 2020, and the Leon property was 2022.
so I was half right.
I think the only evidence that was presented today was as to the Alachua property should have began in 2022, and they requested 2020.
Okay, that was Alachua, right? What about the other one?
I think they requested 2022 in that one.
And what is the correct one? Correct date that we can agree upon, I hope? When did title, I didn't get a deed for that property. When did title vest in that property?
I don't know, I didn't research that issue. What I reached out about was the Alachua property. On slide 29, they reached out for Leon beginning in 2022.
Is that the Alachua property? Is the Lot 13, Block 30, Cocoa Ocean Beach, is that the Alachua property?
That's the Alachua property, correct.
Okay. So that'll be, as of 2022.
Well,
And
why
the
don't I put,
Leon we knew was 2022.
so 2022,
Both of them 2022.
both of them 2022, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So within 20 days, I was going to be right around there. How's 20 days sound to everybody?
Works for me.
Work for the city. Mr. Maloon, pay the local business tax within 20 days? You were going to offer? Okay.
Yes, we need 20 days.
Can somebody please email the attorney as for the total amount?
Will somebody send
Sure.
Mr. Maloon an invoice? There you go.
Absolutely.
Okay. That seems to resolve all the issues, and I'll enter an order to that effect.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further, city?
Nope.
No,
Anything further, Mr. Maloon?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you all very much.
thank you.
Does the city have any further cases to be brought before me today?
No, that's it for today.
All right. We're adjourned.